2021 Fraternal Excellence Awards, celebrating the calendar year of 2020 and everything that went with it. We'd love to thank a few groups right off the bat for making tonight possible.
The 2020 Interfraternity and Panhellenic Councils, our fraternity and sorority ambassadors, the individual awards committee of past student leaders, current chapter leaders, and alumni who sorted through more than 100 applications, our house directors, housing boards, chapter advisors, and alumni who helped guide us through 2020.
Now on to the awards.
House directors wear many hats, including role models, community resource, biggest supporter, and so many more. We have an incredible group of house directors in our community, and while only one is recognized tonight, I know we are lucky to have you all.
This house director spent countless hours making sure COVID protocols were all in order to have a safe and successful semester. Her constant communication efforts allowed her to have a major impact. Her nominator went on to write, "The impact she has had on our chapter's culture cannot be overstated. This house director sacrifices so much time and effort to get to know every member of the chapter, and she is committed to making a home." This year's House Director of the Year is Mary Minano, Sigma Alpha Epsilon.
To be deserving of the Most Outstanding New Member Award, one must go out of their way to make their mark early on for their chapter. They are fearless and driven to make an impact from the very beginning. This nominee fits those qualities like a glove. The nominee has already been a positive force this fall through many leadership positions and is relentless when trying to find out even more ways she can help the chapter. Her nominator went on to say that, without being asked, she is there to help and is a constant friend. She already demonstrates our qualities as a chapter leader. This year's new member of the year for Panhellenic is Lindsay Hannum, Alpha Zeta Delta.
Being the most outstanding new member requires a true dedication to your organization. As this year's new member nominator wrote, a majority of the fraternity admires him for his grit and gentle character, and thus respects him as a leader. Our winner was a spring 2020 new member, elected pledge class president, and managed to connect with his brothers despite his first semester of membership being cut short. He has been a scholar, a leader, an athlete, and a gentleman, and his nominator believes his honest work, ethic, and ability to influence change will impact their chapter this coming year. This year's new member of the year for IFC is Mason Mead of Pi Kappa Alpha.
Okay, the nominee for the most outstanding Panhellenic chapter member is someone who holds the chapter together. This person will go out of their way to do not only the little things, but have a big impact on the chapter as well. The nominee has embodied the chapter's values by utilizing her professional skills and experience in our chapter's new member experience. The feedback provided, it was worth all of the long hours and work. She is not only a leader, but a mentor. The nominee has always been wanting to leave a lasting positive impact. Her nominator said she set an example that people cannot help but want to imitate. This year's Panhellenic Chapter Member of the Year is Anna Washburn from Sigma Kappa.
This year's Chapter Member of the Year for IFC is a testament to the key characteristics of their fraternity. As his nominator said, his respect for all people, his dedication to serve despite his busy major, and his leadership on campus sets him apart. He has led his chapter through a record-high philanthropy event and will now be tasked with leading his fraternity's recruitment efforts. This year's Chapter Member of the Year for IFC is Matthew Dabowski, Pi Kappa Alpha.
Through all the craziness, it is important to recognize the leadership of all our chapter presidents that have been the focal point of keeping our chapters moving in a positive direction. This year's award winner has led with compassion, built a foundation of mutual love and respect for their chapter, has been unflustered by difficult and demanding situations, and most of all, her biggest impact, making people feel welcomed and appreciated. It's been said that this nominee went above and beyond by writing over 150 letters, one for each woman in the organization. This nominee has always been inclusive and valued the ideas of others. She cares so much and wants her chapter to be empowered. This year's Chapter President of the Year for Panhellenic is Cheyenne Bruner of Kappa Alpha Theta.
The year's Fraternity Chapter of the Year winner is described by his chapter for having his actions speak louder than words. He has held progressively more difficult leadership roles since his first year in the fraternity, consistently giving back and paying the debt. What truly came out of his role was a sense of loyalty and resilience during one of the toughest years of our chapter's history. This year's Chapter President of the Year for IFC is Dawson Wagner of Delta Sigma Phi.
Everyone turns to their chapter president when they don't know what to do. But when the chapter president needs help, who do they go to? The chapter advisor, who provides constant support and dedication to their organization. This nominee devotes hours of her time and energy to the constant improvement of her chapter. She is a full-time teacher, mother of 3 young children, and wife. Even on top of that, she finds hours each week to communicate and advise our chapter. Her nominator went on to say that this nominee embodies everything it means to be a sorority sister, alumna, and advisor. She is a constant supporter, encourager, and example of our sisterhood. Her dedication to our success is something we can't thank her enough for. This year's Chapter Advisor of the Year for Panhellenic goes to Rachel Henig, Alpha Xi Delta.
IFC's Chapter Advisor of the Year award has earned respect by showing his deep belief in our chapter and fraternity experience. While it's easy to focus on the metrics, dollars raised, bids signed, events held, this advisor focuses conversation on what is being learned and how our men are evolving from these experiences. This advisor serves on the Board of Trustees, helps advise the chapter's executive board, and volunteered with the organization's capital campaign. To this man, fraternity is a lifelong endeavor. This year's Chapter Advisor of the Year award for IFC is Bill Meredith, Delta Chi.
I am honored to recognize the Woman of the Year. Fraternity and sorority life is not the same without members like this. This nominee is the epitome of involvement to further a cause, not just her own needs. Not only involved in her chapter, but also involved in student government, Wildcat Warm-Up, the Alumni Association, and the list goes on and on. Her nominator also said that her commitment to inclusion has always amazed me, and her being able to make people feel welcomed and cared for is infectious. This year's Woman of the Year is Marissa Lux, Kappa Kappa Gamma.
This year's Man of the Year has made the most of his time in the fraternity community and is an example of how leading by example can make an impact on a chapter's culture. This fraternity member spearheaded a mental health initiative because he wanted to support brothers who were struggling, doing this all without a title or without a majority of the chapter knowing. This member is involved in SGA, Blue Key, and joined his fraternity as a junior, which didn't slow him down one bit. In the words of his nominator, his resume speaks for itself, but it's the works behind the scenes and reputation for always doing the right thing that made him deserving of this award. This year's Man of the Year is Nathan Bothwell, Delta Chi.
In a time of crisis, look to leaders for help. This year's Campus and Community Partner of the Year award goes to someone who did a lot in 2020 to help. The winner was able to help our community get through the pandemic, since the pandemic affected so many different areas of fraternity and sorority life. They answered questions, they hopped on Zoom, they directly aided the members of our organizations. This nominee provided so many resources for our groups to utilize and also provided weekly updates to the entire K-State community. We appreciate this nominee and all of the other healthcare workers that truly aided and supported everyone throughout the challenges that this year brought. Congratulations to Lafayette Health Center, our campus community partner for 2020.
There are 3 levels of achievement for our Fraternal Excellence Awards, and there is no predetermined number of chapters that are eligible to receive each level of these awards. The degree of award is based on the percentage of completed metrics in the award, much like an exam. The President's Award for Fraternal Excellence. Chapter receives 95% or more of available points. This is the highest award a chapter can receive. Dean's Award. Chapter receives 85% or more of available points. And the Purple Circle Award. Chapter receives 75% or more of available points.
7 chapters received the Purple Circle Award for receiving 75% or more of available points. Congratulations to Acacia, Alpha Xi Delta, Chi Omega, Delta Upsilon, Phi Gamma Delta, Kappa Kappa Gamma, and Theta Xi. We would like to recognize 6 chapters with the Dean's Award for achieving 85% or more of available points. They are Alpha Delta Pi, Kappa Alpha Theta, Gamma Phi Beta, Phi Delta Theta, Pi Kappa Alpha, and Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your hard work and dedication in showcasing what 2020 held. It's nearly a year in the making, but we are transitioning the Fraternal Excellence Awards in 2021. This January, chapter presidents were asked to set goals for their organizations in 5 areas: leadership, learning, service and philanthropy, brotherhood and sisterhood, and community. These goals allow chapters to decide what's best for them, what are the next steps, where would they like to see their organization go. And we're looking forward to recognizing chapters off of those goals instead of a stagnant rubric. We believe this will allow us to say, hey, this is what the best version of this organization can look like. We also know that as you were watching this, you probably thought, I know so many great men and women who should have been nominated tonight or recognized for the amazing work they're doing. And we agree. So be sure throughout 2021 to make note of those leaders and those members, those influencers, those new members that are making a huge impact in your chapter. Our nominations always open right after Thanksgiving. That's a chance for you to say, hey, this is someone who stepped up in 2021. In the meantime, right now, take a minute and text a brother or sister, an undergraduate, an alum who's made a difference in your life or your fraternity and sorority experience. No, really, we will wait. Take a minute, give them a quick text. Now, on to our last two awards of the evening.
Last year, the Changemaker Chapter Award was created to recognize groups that are striving towards excellence. These awards exemplify chapters who not only made significant improvements in their award applications in the past year, but are striving to make chapter and community change. This change effort is sustainable, aligned with the chapter's purpose, and provides movement on members' needs or goals. This year's Panhellenic Changemaker continues to advance sorority for their members by focusing on expectations, creating worthwhile experiences, and naming inclusivity as a top priority. This chapter implemented a new system to teach members key life skills, provided weekly forums for members to discuss current issues, and reassess their efforts around accessibility, financial transparency, and more. Congratulations to our 2020 Changemaker sorority, Alpha Delta Pi.
This year's 2020 Interfraternity Changemaker has focused on consecutive semesters of progress in the areas of academics, philanthropy, and structure. Going into 2020, this chapter experienced what they described as a wake-up call to set standards and develop a proper vision for their fraternity. They've increased accountability standards, excelled in virtual recruitment, and held their largest philanthropy event in recent years. They innovated, never losing sight of their focus of developing men into scholars, leaders, athletes, and gentlemen. Pi Kappa Alpha is 2020's Changemaker fraternity.
This year's Panhellenic Chapter of the Year has built progress on top of previous year's work, initiatives brought forth by their own members, and offerings from their headquarters and community. They focus on individual and chapter growth in the areas of diversity, equity, and inclusion, wanting to make concrete changes in the chapter while educating others for the complex and ever-changing world. They've adapted to the challenges 2020 brought while keeping sisterhood at the center. They aim to make sorority accessible, safe, and fun. Their FEA points and examples of sisterhood align to show us how they deserve to be called the Chapter of the Year. This year's Panhellenic Chapter of the Year is Kappa Alpha Theta.
This year's Interfraternity Chapter of the Year has continued to make progress, despite the hurdles 2020 presented. This chapter further developed their Diversity Leadership Speaker Series, their Young Alumni Mentorship Program, and their in-house mentorship program, all centered around making men true gentlemen. Their academic performance and community involvement with organizations of all kinds betters their brotherhood and advances fraternity on this campus. This year's Interfraternity Chapter of the Year is Sigma Alpha Epsilon.